2 days back, Government of India has released a ranking for the universities and colleges throughout India, which is named as NIRF Ranking, National Institutional Ranking Framework. I am going to talk on this National Institute of National Institutional Ranking Framework and whether you can select the college based on this NIRF ranking, because we can see after the ranking came, most of the colleges have been advertising the admissions based on this NIRF ranking. So, what is I am first going to consider what is this NIRF ranking and how it is calculated, and then we can talk about whether you can take admission based on NIRF ranking and whether there will be any benefit for the student if they take the admission based on NIRF ranking. So, these two kinds of things will be considered in this video. First is NIRF ranking. As I said, first National Institutional Ranking Framework, which is ranks given by the Government of India to different colleges, universities, etc. Research institutes, all etc. So these ranking is considered now as an academy award for the colleges, because mainly these rankings are given to both private and government colleges. Usually the government colleges have funding from the government, and they utilize this funding and make this infrastructure so that they will get a good NIRF ranking. But this is not the case in the case of private institutions. Private institutions, the NIRF ranking may differ. The ranking scheme, everything is same, but it may differ according to my experience. I can share with you how it differ, and the NIRF ranking for government institutions cannot be what compared with the NIRF ranking of private institutions. It may vary. So we need to first go through what is NIRF ranking. So what are the criteria it is followed in the NIRF ranking? So NIRF ranking mainly focus on these parameters. First is the student-teacher ratio, how much faculties are there for our students. So in the case of the government institutions which actively involved in faculty procurement will be getting very good ranking, while the government institutions which are lagging behind the faculty appointment. Nowadays many faculty appointments are going on in government institutions. So if they are active in faculty recruitment, and if the faculty student ratio is maintained very good, they will get a good ranking there. Second is how much PhD the teachers with PhD in the institution. So it also depends. Mostly nowadays, most of the faculties are recruited in most of the institutions based on their PhD only. Most MSc, I have not much seen MSc students teaching in many of the institutions, as though the qualification is MSc plus net. But usually we see PhDs. So these are the one of the criteria. One is PhD faculties, as well as second is the second is student faculty ratio. Usually in private institutions, what they do is that they will the institution which is more wealthy can hire a lot of faculties and maintain the student faculty ratio in a very good way. So, so I am saying that wealthy institutions can procure good ranking compared to that. Wealthy and good managed institution can procure very good ranking compared to less wealthy institutions. Second thing, next thing is their sports extracurricular facilities. If they can build up good volleyball court, or if they have tennis tennis court or something like that, ground, football ground, cricket ground, etc. If they can set up, they can get a very good ranking. Sports, how much they are promoting the extracurricular activities they can. The next one is the library and laboratory facilities. Usually these government institutions, mostly they procure the instruments yearly, so they will get a very good ranking in the laboratory facilities. as well as libraries also there is funding in government institutions. So they how much efficient they are purchasing, how much efficient they are doing this work, the government institution we can think about like that. But the case of private institutions is different. In the case of library and laboratory facilities, usually they procure, in the case of private institution, they procure a lot of instruments, lot of facilities, but mostly these facilities are not being accessed by most of the students in the students there. If technically when we speak about any instruments, any chemicals, it will be available technically, but it may not be available for most of the students to carry out experiments. That's the main thing which we can see most of the private institutions. Technically in the lab, they may have one bottle of a chemical, but one bottle of costly chemical, but it may not be accessible to the students every day. They may have a bigger instrument, they may have a cryo electron microscope, they may have a SEM or TEM or like the instruments, but it may not be much available to the old students at the right time. Mostly these institutions are a very big central instrumentation facility with all instruments. They invest in a lot of instruments, but access to that instruments is very less. I have seen throughout my career in, I think, two or three of the private universities in my career. So as well as private institutions, colleges also I worked. All these places, what I meant, what I seen is I am so going to say. So if we can invest more in these instruments, all these things, we can get the mark in that area. And the second part is the publication part. It's also actively researching institutions will get very good marks. That's why IIT Madras, IIC, all are in the top of NIRF ranking. And in between, we are seeing some institutions which we have not seen or not heard about. How these institutions come in this is what I am saying. Second is the publications, patents, and citations. So mostly some of the institutions which I am focusing in this video, how they acquire good ranking is that they used to procure faculties with very good publication history, or faculties which are going to finish their PhD, so that they may have 2-3 publications pending in their PhD, which can be published in their name, the new institution's name. And next is they may procure ad hoc adjunct faculties, not ad hoc, adjunct faculties, which they may not be working completely in that institution, but they give publication in the name of that university. So these are some of the ways in which these type of universities procure a good amount of publications and show and get that 100 marks given by NIRF. And the third thing is that how much diversity is seen. Usually bigger universities used to hire from throughout all places of India, because of this getting these marks. So diversity. In this criteria, many local colleges, local regional institutions will lag behind, because they can't hire the students from different parts of India. They can't hire the students from different countries. Usually the African countries, a lot of African countries are there. What these institutions are doing is that they hire the students from a lot of African countries with their agencies, and they show this diversity. Is one of the thing, diversity. And they hire physically handicapped or like that students. Whether the terminology has used is correct or not, I don't know. The physically problematic students, disabled students, I think that will be the right. So disabled students. So like that students, they will hire. So disabled students, from that they will get the mark. And then if they hire the lady faculties women faculties or women students, they will get separate marks. So this type of separate mark is being given, 100 marks is given in an NIRF ranking. So these are the main criteria, and last is the peer, how the stakeholders, how the students, how the parents, how the people feels about the university or colleges, how they are ranking, that I don't know, especially. Mostly these are the parameters which NIRF give the ranking to the college. So nothing brings about how much educationally efficient they are. These are the criteria they assess the institutions. If they have a good infrastructure, if they have PhD faculties, this may not meant that they are providing good education. They are providing one thing I missed, I think, that is the performance of students in the final examination. How much the students perform in the final examination, as the universities are there on evaluating, and there are different universities have different evaluation strategies, you can think about that. And then next is how much PhD student graduated from that university. These are some of the criteria which NIRF ranks. So when we see this criteria, we can't say that by just following this criteria, we can't say we can't say that the education going on is very good or not, because education surely depends on many other parameters. How much efficient the students are coming out of there, how much efficient they are getting placed in very good institutions. I am running a startup, so I usually get messages from colleges that can you come, because I am running a small startup, can you come there and hire the students so that they can show they are getting placed. That is what that is happening. So we don't have that much we don't need that much of workforce, so we are not going there. But I am saying that they need some companies there and just hire and then show them that these number are placed there. That's all most of the universities are showing, or most of the colleges are showing. So I am saying that by getting a very good infrastructure, showing very good infrastructure, that is the best way of talking. Showing a very good infrastructure, showing very good publication paper, showing very good PhD faculties in paper may not reflect they are good in education, may not reflect they are good in placements. This is what student need. So when you are considering a institution, you should first think, first talk to the alumni there. That's the best thing you can do. Alumni will not lie, and you can check the alumni where are they now. It's the best option is LinkedIn. You can go to LinkedIn and just search the institution name. You can see the alumni where are they now. That's the best thing. Or else you can contact them by LinkedIn or so in the social media networks, and you can chat with them. Don't fall in the fake reviews and fake question answers given by the universities in different websites throughout the internet. Don't fall in fake reviews they are giving in Google. All these things can be manipulated by SEOs, good SEOs presently in the country. So you should talk with the alumni. You should talk with the you should search the alumni and find out where are they. Then only decide which college to join, not based on NIRF ranking. NIRF ranking is just a ranking given. I'm just talking in the case of private institutions, how they come in between the very mighty IITs, IACs. I'm not talking about that type of institutions. I'm talking about how these private institutions, which you don't know even the name, come in between them. So this is the what happening. So when you are joining a private institutions, I'm just focusing on private institution based on NIRF ranking, you should not consider NIRF ranking as one of the parameters in entering that institution. You should think, you should talk with the alumni. That's the best way you can get placed and get a good education, good certificate, or good education in that institution. Thank you.